there's some good news that I think is going to come up next week for Wolf-pac, and I'm looking forward to that. And it looked like there was some good news last week when HCR 10 was going to get a vote in New Hampshire. That was legislation that we, of course, were pushing for here at Wolf-pac. It was to get a convention to pass a constitutional amendment, at least a proposed one, so that the states could ratify it to get money out of politics. And American hero, Representative Tim Smith in New Hampshire, had proposed that, and it looked really good. And then something unfortunate happened last week. There's a totally out of control Republican representative in New Hampshire. Now look, there are Republicans on our side in many states, okay, enthusiastically supporting this legislation because they understand that we got to get money out of politics and it's corrupted our democracy. But apparently Representative Vaillancourt in New Hampshire is not one of them. So he decided that just before the vote was going to go, that he would do a motion to table the resolution, okay? Now, when he did that, he said, look, there's a bunch of more important matters pending, and this issue doesn't rise to the level of a priority. Now, that's fascinating because 97% of Americans agree that we should get money out of politics and that it is a corrupting influence in our democracy. And 9 out of 10 Americans put it among their top priorities. In fact, in a recent poll, it was the #1 priority, saying that our government is broken and it needs to be fixed. That was even above the economy, getting jobs, etc. Because you can't fix the economy unless you fix the government. But apparently, Representative Vaillancourt thought, oh, this is fixing our government, that's not important. Now, of course, people like Representative Vaillancourt don't want to fix the government. They love the broken system. And unfortunately, his fellow Republicans went along with it, and they tabled the resolution. Now, who's Vaillancourt? He's a guy who's already totally out of control. You know that he got censured by his own legislature in New Hampshire for saying "Sieg Heil" in the middle of a debate. In fact, we have the tape for you. Here, watch it.
Mr. Speaker, point of order. You just ruled that you can only speak if it's in the committee report. There's nothing in the committee report.
Sergeant at Arms will bring Representative Vaillancourt to order.
Are you going to treat everybody fairly or not?
Representative Vaillancourt, another outburst like that, you'll be removed from the hall.
Sieg Heil.
The Sergeant at Arms will remove Representative Vaillancourt from the hall.
This guy's totally and utterly out of control. So I don't know if he's trying to, in his own clever way, accuse them of being Nazis, or if he's just a Nazi sympathizer. Well, he didn't get any more under control when he was interviewed after that incident.
It's about time we rise up and say, no more tyranny, no more autocracy here. Everybody should be treated fairly in this House and in any democratic body.
Is saying Sieg Heil the best way to illustrate your concerns?
It was a very lowly voice. I didn't yell, Sieg Heil!
Apparently, he's used to yelling that. So, look, I don't want you guys to use bad language. Obviously, any kind of threat is massively unacceptable. That's not what we do. We're the good guys, okay? But I do want you to call the Republican caucus in New Hampshire. We're going to put that number up here. And I want you to, first of all, ask them if they stand with Sieg Heil Vaillancourt in blocking the most important priority for the American people. In a state like New Hampshire, with a motto like live free or die, you're going to let guys like Vaillancourt stand in the way of progress? And second of all, leave Vaillancourt a message and tell him Wolf-pac sends his regards. And now you put it in any way you want, and I understand if you're angry, I understand if you're emotional about keeping our democracy and getting this amendment and fixing the issue of money in politics. But again, don't use any bad language and certainly no threats, because that's not who we are. We're the good guys, okay? The Sieg Heil Vaillancourts are the bad guys of the world. And so when we do good things and when we have progress, I want to celebrate it, and we do on the show. And when we have guys impeding our progress, it's important that they not impede it anymore. He didn't win his election by much last time, and hopefully we'll soon be calling him former Representative Vaillancourt from New Hampshire. And one other thing that's incredibly important here. If we had more volunteers, honestly, in the Northeast, we could have won that issue. Now, it got tabled. It could be reintroduced if we all work together, and it can pass in New Hampshire. My God, is New Hampshire a right state for it to pass in? There's no question it should pass in New Hampshire, but we need volunteers. We need people on the ground to make our case and to stand strong. So I need you to go to wolf-pac.com, volunteer so that we can beat guys like this. And if you can't volunteer, at least sign the petition. At least become a member so that you're contributing in some way. Either you're going to let the Vaillancourts of the world win, or you're going to fight back and stand up for democracy, stand up for our system of government, and not let guys like this get in the way.